1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2.
הוא לא יוכל לעמוד פה ככה, זה נורא. הוא לא יוכל לעמוד פה ככה לדעתי.
אחד, 2, 1, 2, 3. קבל? איך? מאוד נמוך? שומע? 1, 2. יופי. אז הקבל שלך דפוק. טוב, זריז הוא הגיע, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, ניסיון. אוקיי.
Can you see me? Can you hear me? I don't get any taller, but I can talk louder. Okay, so let's start. Got in last night from Lebanon. I'll tell you about that in a minute, and I'll tell you why I went. But this is my first visit since military operations against Iran by Israel and the United States. And I cannot stress to you how important those operations have become. From an American point of view, participating in degrading the Iranian nuclear capability, I think, was an antidote to the problems we face by withdrawing from Afghanistan. I told President Trump, Afghanistan left a black mark on America. We were looked at as an unreliable ally. We got a chance now to change that narrative. The Iranian nuclear threat is great to our country, not just Israel and other allies. So President Trump's decision to join the fight, I think, was a bold decision, the right decision, and has done a lot of good to undo the damage caused by Afghanistan. The operation was militarily very successful. It did obliterate these nuclear sites and the conversion center, but the desire of the Ayatollah to have a nuclear weapon has not been obliterated. His capability has, so they need to be watched very closely. These operations, in my view, have reduced Iranian influence and capability in the region to an all-time low since 1979. So we have a moment here to act decisively to close the deal when it comes to Iranian influence on the region. Lebanon is a wonderful opportunity to change the region for the better and the future of the Lebanese people. What I saw in Lebanon was a government, an infant democracy, where the Sunnis, the Shias, and the Christians are trying to form a coherent vision for Lebanon. Last week, they announced through the government a decision to disarm Hezbollah. That is a giant step forward for the cause. If Hezbollah could be disarmed, then that would be a mighty blow to Iran, and I think it would open the doors to a brighter future for Lebanon. I told the Lebanese government, all sectors of the government, with a vibrant Hezbollah fully armed that can wreak havoc on the region, nobody's going to invest in your country. It will be hard to get any serious American support militarily or economically. Without Hezbollah being disarmed, your future is pretty bleak. With Hezbollah being disarmed and the Shias participating in politics in a normal fashion, the sky's the limit for Lebanon. You have a lot going for you. You have a very educated population. You have a very influential diaspora. There's two things to watch. The plan to disarm Lebanon, authored by the Lebanese military, comes out next week. I'm looking forward to reviewing that plan to see how practical it is. Also, there's a decision made to eliminate UNIFIL as a UN peacekeeping organization in the next 15 months. Now, that presents an opportunity for the Lebanese armed forces to replace a very ineffective UNIFIL and prove to not only the Lebanese people but Israel and others that Lebanon has capability it did not possess before and will. So my hope is that Lebanon and Israel will start talking directly about how to make that transition from UNIFIL to Lebanese military control of that part of Lebanon. If we could pull this off, it's a big win for Israel to have a better partner on their border, and it's a huge statement by the world that we see a new Lebanon. The reason UNIFIL exists is that nobody back then believed Lebanon was capable of policing the South. It's going to take resources and a lot of commitment to build the Lebanese army to the point they can do this. If we cannot reach a peaceful disarmament solution for Hezbollah, then we need to look at Plan B. Plan B is disarming Hezbollah by military force. What's non-negotiable for me is their disarmament. I'd prefer to do it through the political process, where Shias are given a seat at the table and a strong voice in their country through the political process. But allowing Hezbollah to have heavy weapons is a non-starter. No future for Lebanon, and the threats are too great to allow this to happen. Hezbollah has American blood on its hands. I visited the Marine Memorial near our embassy, a memorial to Americans killed in Lebanon, the explosion at the Marine barracks, over 200 American Marines killed at the hands of Hezbollah. It is time for Hezbollah to go. They are trained by Iran, they are loyal to Iran, and we're looking for military power in Lebanon to be loyal to the Lebanese people and a good partner to the region. So Israel can be a productive partner in this. They need to start having dialogue with the Lebanese army about how to take over from UNIFIL, and we need to all start talking about Plan B. If we have to use military force to disarm Hezbollah, I think it's in America's interest to make sure the Lebanese army is successful. The worst possible outcome is take on Hezbollah and lose. Israel has shown a tremendous capability to deal with terrorist organizations and help their allies. By the end of the year, it's my hope that Hezbollah is disarmed. It is my hope by the end of the year that Hamas has been militarily defeated and the hostages have returned home. How does that happen? It is my hope that those remaining Hamas fighters will stop the destruction of the Palestinian people caused by their behavior and realize it is now time to lay down their weapons for the good of the future of the Palestinian people and leave peacefully, turn over the hostages. I hope and pray for that outcome. But one thing to me is non-negotiable. Hamas needs to go, and they need to go this year. Next year, I envision to be a year of starting over again, post-October the 7th. I envision 2026 to be the year of trying to integrate Israel into the region, to build on the Abraham Accords. And the sooner that process starts, the better. It will be hard to talk to Arab partners in this region while there are major military operations ongoing. I will leave it up to Israel to do what it takes to finish off Hamas. I'll leave it up to them regarding the time it takes. My observation is that 26 needs to be the year of having a day-after plan implemented in Gaza, a reformed West Bank, and talking about how to bring peace to the region and build on the Abraham Accords. I am cautiously optimistic about the future of Lebanon. I went to the south today. I was impressed by what I saw in terms of delivery of food. The Kogak commander is one of the most impressive military officers I've ever met. I got briefed by a division commander in Gaza about the military situation. I think Israel is poised to deliver a decisive blow to Hamas. The sooner the better. As to the idea that Israel has tried to starve the people in Gaza as a tool of war, I firmly and completely reject that. I think the problems have been, it's like doing the Berlin airlift while the Nazis still have Berlin. This is very difficult, and Hamas makes it difficult. But I met yesterday with the Prime Minister and Sidney McCain, my dear friend, the head of the World Food Program. It was one of the more productive meetings I've been in. There was an honest exchange between the World Food Program and Kogak and the IDF about what we can do together to improve delivery of food that goes to the Palestinian people, not to Hamas. And I am very optimistic that dialogue will result in more trucks going in delivering aid to the right people. And I want to congratulate both parties for sitting down and having a very productive discussion. I think it's very important that the World Food Program participate in a responsible way. I think it's very important that the food go to the Palestinian people, not to Hamas. And I'm hoping that that dialogue that we had yesterday will result in more trucks going in under conditions that will that Israel can live with. So I want to thank both Cindy and Bibi for having that meeting, and I'm optimistic better days are ahead in terms of food delivery. So back home, President Trump has proven to be a great ally of the Israeli people. I think he's had your back. I hope that support for Israel continues to be bipartisan. I am worried about European leaders calling for a Palestinian state at this juncture. I think it emboldens Hamas. It makes the likelihood of getting the hostages back harder. I think it extends the military campaign. I think it's irresponsible to call for a Palestinian state when you have no idea who's in charge, what the boundaries would look like, where the capital would be. Are they still going to teach kill all the Jews? Will it be a demilitarized, or will it have an army? All of that is unanswered, and it has to be answered before you can have a realistic solution. So I will go back and tell President Trump that the operations in Iran not only were militarily successful, they've for the better changed the image of our country in the region, that continue to partner with Israel militarily is in our national security interest. Your success is our success, and we will see where all this goes. But I'm hoping that 2026 will be the year of dialogue and the year of confidence building, and a year that will lead to breakthroughs that were not even thought to be possible just a few years ago. Syria is very much of a problem. The United States has a policy of one Syria with a federalist types of system. I support that policy, but Syria has much to prove to me in the region before that can happen. I support lifting the sanctions, but I want conditions on sanctions relief with a snapback in case Syria doesn't perform. I want to congratulate our European partners today for imposing a snapback on the Iranian regime. That decision was required by Iran's behavior. What will I do next on Iran? I intend to take the legislation that I've drafted against Putin's Russia, putting tariffs on those countries who buy Russian oil and gas and do not help Ukraine, that if you do buy cheap Russian oil and gas, there'll be a tariff on your products coming into the United States. President Trump put a 50% tariff on India a couple of days ago. I want India, Brazil, and China to pick between Russian cheap gas and the American economy to drive Putin to the table. I'm going to take that same idea and apply it to Iran. Next year, I hope to have legislation, if not before next year, that would put a tariff on any country that buys Iranian oil and gas. Any products coming into America would be tariffed if you continue to prop up the Ayatollah by buying his oil and gas. Let's take some questions. Thank you. Yes, sir.
The Arab mediators are saying that there's a deal on the table in which there would be a 60-day ceasefire. 10 hostages would come out in exchange for Palestinian prisoners. Should the Prime Minister accept that deal? And one other question. Palestinian officials said that you were consulted as a part of a reform effort of their prisoner payment system, which is a reform effort they started in February. What's your assessment of that reform effort?
Well, Israel believes it's more talk than action. So I've talked to Israel about it. So I don't know if the good news that was given to me really holds up. As to how to get the hostages out, where you do it, all of them come out together, including the bodies of the fallen, I'll leave that up to Israel. That is a hard decision to make. You know, one thing you don't want to do is drag this thing out any more than you have to, but I'll leave that up to the Israeli government. I think President Trump is going to back Israel's decision no matter what they do. I certainly will too. If they want to do 2 phases, I will back them. If they want to insist on getting all the hostages out, I will back that decision. But my point to you and our friends in Israel, whatever decision you make, we need to have the vast majority of 26 to be about the day after.
What about on the prisoner system, the PA's prisoner payment reform that was launched in February? What's your assessment of that?
Yeah, but I don't know enough to tell you yet.
Senator Graham, you mentioned this meeting between yourself, Netanyahu, and the head of...
Yeah, Cindy McCain, WFP.
Yeah. What was exactly...
Well, I think they're going to talk about it. I'll let them speak for themselves, but I can tell you my impression of the meeting. 2 thumbs up. Cindy made the point that we're here to help feed people. We want to do it in a fashion that Israel feels comfortable with. We have certain guidelines we have to follow. I was impressed with the fact they provide aid packages to people who have IDs and names. And they actually ask the people, did you make it home? Did anybody take the aid away from you? I thought that was a good process to make sure that Hamas doesn't wind up with this food. Huh? No, they do that everywhere. I just didn't know it. So I think that dialogue about how the WFP works was really helpful. I think Israel wants to be able to work with the WFP. I think out of that meeting between Kogak and the people on the ground with the World Food Program here, that they've got a system that I think is going to increase food delivery. I was told before the war there was around 100 trucks a day going in to Gaza. There was indigenous food production. That has been pretty much dramatically reduced because of the war, and that 300 trucks a day, according to Israel and I think other people, meets the needs of Gaza and probably then some. You see in August a dramatic increase. I think after that meeting between the WFP and Israel, I think that will be sustainable. I went to GHF, is that the group? I saw what they do. They do about 60, 80 trucks a day. So I'm going to tell my colleagues what I saw, but I would also like your Kogak commander to come back and tell us what actually is happening and take questions, because there's a lot of misinformation. But I talked to Cindy a while ago, and she was very willing to talk to the Israelis. Bibi wanted to talk to her, and I think it was a very good meeting, and I think it will improve the situation. Anything else? Yes.
Talked about how it's in the American interest to see Lebanon formally
Yeah.
disarmed. How do you think the U.S. should and will support that process?
I think it's critical that we support that process. That failure to disarm Hezbollah not only dooms the future of Lebanon, it creates an environment to make it harder to reconcile the region. So Hamas, I see how that ends. I went to the south. I know how that ends. It's going to end with the destruction of Hamas militarily or them surrendering and leaving. Hezbollah, a statement was made that they should be disarmed. I've yet to see the plan how to do it. I would prefer a political process where the Shia community could convince Hezbollah to lay down the weapons and integrate politically into Lebanon. I'd like to give that Tom Barrack has an idea. I'd like to give that a chance. I'm convinced without Plan B, there'll never be a Plan A. That the only way you're ever going to convince Hezbollah and others that have been stakeholders in terrorism is to have a credible threat of military force. And if you don't have that credible threat, I don't think you're ever going to get a political solution. So I'll go back to President Trump and say, you aided Israel to eliminate a common threat or reduce the capability of a nuclear-armed Iran, which is a threat to us. You've helped Israel militarily deal with the war in Gaza. You've given them the time and the space to do it. Now we need to turn our attention to the other proxy, Hezbollah. The Houthis, good day for the home team against the Houthis, but Hezbollah is now my focus. They've been very lethal. They have a lot of capability still left, even though Israel has, hurt them a lot. So I'm going to go back and tell President Trump, let's talk to Israel and Lebanon about Plan B to make sure that if it happens, they're successful. The worst possible outcome is for the Lebanese army, as part of Plan B, to take Hezbollah on and fail. That can't happen.
There's more discussion now in the Israeli right about annexing parts of the West Bank. What's your position on annexing parts of the West Bank?
Call Saudi Arabia, call Egypt, call Jordan, call the United Arab Emirates, and see what kind of answer you get.
About this Plan B, who is supposed to actually implement it? Israel? The
Well, this is why I came. Plan B is developing in front of your eyes here. They're going to produce a plan, Lebanon will, about disarmament. They made a statement. They're going to follow up with a plan. Well, that plan will be shared with us and Israel. And what I want to do is pursue the diplomatic solution aggressively. I don't want to have a wider war in Lebanon, but I am convinced Lebanon will be part of the solution, but they don't have the capability without assistance to execute Plan B. And I want Iran to know, and I want Hezbollah to know that you're not going to be around next year. Thank you all very much.